What's up, everybody? Hope y'all can hear me. At least somebody unmute themselves and say what's up, just so I know that my mic is working.
I can hear
We
you,
can hear
Doc.
you, big dog.
Okay, awesome. What's up, Jose? How's it going? What's up, everybody? Ryan, Kelsey, Saul. I see you guys on here. Maria, hi. We're gonna give just like a minute or two for people to get on here. We're gonna shoot to make this about a 40-minute call. So once we get started here in a couple minutes, feel free to take some notes and write things down. We're going to go over just real quick first few minutes on goal setting and really just some of the dynamics behind why this should be the time to really start challenging yourself to become the best version of your health, best version of yourself. Elijah's going to get on the call as well. He's going to spend some time talking through the upcoming challenge that we have that starts on January 22nd. So our whole goal for doing this call with you guys is to help turn, the motivation that you have, the inspiration you have to be better, and put some action plans behind it and help give you the accountability to not only meet but exceed your health goals this year and really set you up with good habits that last not just for the next 6 weeks or 6 months, but really for the rest of your life. So we'll talk through our challenge, and then I'm going to spend a few minutes as well just going through some of the essentials for understanding how to optimize your nutrition, how to optimize your fitness. And then we'll close with some calls to action for you guys. We'll give you guys some links, some action steps, whether you are or are not doing the challenge. Either way, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on this call. And I'm excited to do this with you guys. So we got people on here. This is exciting. All right, so let's get rocking. So why do we talk about the new year being this motivation time? And some of you guys who have been in our office have heard us talk and say, hey, you've got to get on this. You've got to, do New Year's resolutions. You've really got to try to become better every single year. Why are we so adamant about talking about that? Well, the reality is, true reality of where we are in the world is that we unfortunately are not, and I mean this, we are not a healthy society. Every year, we see reports and we see research come out that we're having more problems. In fact, most of the recent studies now are showing that the children being born today are not going to outlive their adults, meaning they're going to be susceptible and succumbing to more diseases that even our generation has. We know the newest statistics that came out last year on mental health and developmental disorders show that 1 in 36 children now are being born autistic. And that is a statistic that has more than doubled in the last 20 years. At the turn of the century, that was 1 in 88 children. And so we're in a world right now, this is my feeling, we're in a world right now that has more access to technology and more access to information than ever before. Yet, despite this fact, each year we're seeing us, Americans, our friends, our family, become more overweight, succumbing to more disease, and developing those problems earlier and earlier in life. And the reality is why we have to challenge ourselves is because in the world that we live in, this may not come as a shock to you, it's really hard to be healthy. Most of the things that we see in our world are there to pull us away from health. And it's sad because a lot of the survival instincts that we have that we're pre-programmed with are being used as a war weapon against us. Just to talk about that for a minute, let's talk about sugar, right? Our body is designed to crave sugar. In times of stress, we can eat sugar and it'll convert itself to fat so that we can make it through the famine and through dry seasons. But I can guarantee this, that probably no one on the call doesn't have a refrigerator or hasn't heard of one of those before. We have ways of storing nutrients now that are in our home. We don't necessarily need to hold an extra 50 pounds of fat on our body for the famine, because if anyone on the call has had a bad crop year in the last few years, let me know. But the problem is not that we don't have enough food. It's now that we have too much food. And the highly processed foods that are out there are everywhere. And the amount of subscriptions you can have to watch show after show after show or scroll on your phone hour after hour after hour, it's infinite. We went from a society where as humans, we're supposed to be moving 12 hours a day or more to being a society that now the average person sits 12 and a half hours per day. So it's so far from doing the right things that are correlated with long-term health. That's why I always say that at the beginning of the new year, you have to challenge yourself, because I can guarantee you, if you look through your habits, we all have this. There are so many things that we do on a daily basis that are not necessarily there for our health. You may not call them addictions, but they're definitely not things that are promoting you to be healthy. Scrolling on social media, binge watching shows on TV, watching long-term reruns, eating unhealthy fast food because it's convenient or because you don't have the time. So this is really about taking and making a reset and declaring this being the time that we're going to buckle down, that we're going to start emphasizing doing all the right action steps, from meal planning to eating the right macronutrient profile to committing towards daily movement and exercise, for mindfulness to get our mind right to go against the world that's so far against health, to fasting from certain things that are drawing our attention, like from social media or from technology. And by doing these over a period of time, what we understand is that our body will start to change and adapt once we start adopting a habit for more than 21 to 28 days, depending on the research you read. Some argue longer than that. We're going 6 weeks with you guys because I feel like it's an adaptable, doable challenge that most all of our patients, you guys on the line, friends and family, can make it through. Okay. So that's what I've got as far as motivation is concerned. I also want to give you a stat, because you guys are the outliers being on this call, is that by the next week, by January 21st, 92% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions. 1 in 8 people, only 3 weeks in, is still actively making changes in their life. So the reason that we always wait a few weeks to start our New Year, New You challenge is because week 1, week 2, everyone we talk to says, oh, no, I already got it. I'm already doing this thing. I already gave up sugar. I'm already working out, whatever it is. Again, 11 out of 12 of us by the 21st have already given that up. So why do we start on the 22nd? Why do we usually start the last week of January? It's to give time for people to understand that just having an idea that you want to be healthier, it's noble, but it's not always enough. And so what you're going to want to write down of this call is that whenever you're talking about making New Year's goals, making resolutions, becoming healthier, it's all about optimizing something called your GPA. Okay. So a lot of us have goals. That's the G, right? Goals are a G, and it's great to have goals. But goals without the P, without the A, rarely come into fruition. So what's the P? And that's what we're going to spend time talking about on the call today. The P is the plan. P is your action plan. It's your recipe for success. It's how you do the daily things that achieve those goals. And again, for a lot of us in this world that we live in today, a lot of us have a goal that they want to be healthier. I want to gain muscle. I want to burn fat. I want to be a lean, mean machine. I want to just reach my optimal goals, not just for bikini season, but to overcome health plateaus. And we might make a plan, and it may not even be the right plan. Like we don't know what the right foods to eat. We don't know the right nutrition. How do I eat the right quantity of foods and the right ratios to optimize my body's health, right? So we're going to go over the plan with you guys. Laid out meal plans, exercise protocols. Elijah will go through some of these things in general, but basically we've spent the last 2-3 months developing a fully functional app that communicates 2 ways with you guys. So versus just a sheet of paper that you're supposed to follow, this is interactive. And it's really going to help you guys have the right protocol to get success. The last portion of the GPA, is the accountability factor. You might have the right goals, you might have the right plan of action, but a lot of us are weak. And it's not your fault. We are weak when we're alone. Having accountability is what helps drive people through it. You can look at this. You can take a woman who becomes pregnant, and she might drink, she might smoke, but as soon as she finds out she's pregnant and understands that she's eating for 2, guess what stops immediately? Motivation to smoke's there, is not there anymore. Quit smoking, quit eating unhealthy food. Doesn't do anything bad for 9 months. Why? Because they're dependent. They know another life is dependent on them. And so by doing this in a group, we get this whole idea of group accountability, that I've got your back, you've got mine. I don't want to let you down. I know you don't want to let me down. And that alone is enough to drive people to success. So there's going to be hopefully a pretty decent sized group of us doing it. We didn't want it to be a huge group. It's going to be around 15 to 20 of us doing this challenge together over the next 6 weeks. We're going to have, again, exclusive apps for you guys to get logged into that has two-way communication so we can hold you guys accountable. And I'm really excited to kick this off and do this. This is the first time we've done an app-based challenge. All the last ones were really based on the honor system, and now we get to hold each other accountable, which is awesome. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Elijah Johnson. So he, along with Tristan, my wife, and a lot of our other team in our office, they'll all be doing the challenge with us. Elijah is one of the leaders of this challenge. Elijah is not just our shockwave tech in our office. He has a really extensive background in athletic training. Some of you guys may not know, but he was a D1 athlete. I guess you're always a D1 athlete, right? But he has since luckily retired so that he can help us out in our office. But he has a huge passion for health, for nutrition, for fitness. To be a top level athlete like he is, you don't just get genetics for that. You really have to do all the training, other things as well, because in his world, it wasn't just that you had to win, it was that every 100th of a second mattered for success. So he's going to walk through some of the details of the challenge, and then we're going to start talking with the time that we have left over the basics of nutrition and fitness. If you guys have any questions while we're doing this, by the way, write them down. Once Elijah finishes with this part, we'll open up the lines for some questions and make sure that we answer as many as we can before we get too far into this. Elijah, take it away, sir.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Thomas, for that wonderful intro. Hello, everybody. So I am Elijah Johnson. A lot of you guys see me in the office all the time, helping you out or doing the shockwave. What a lot of you don't know is what Dr. Thomas just said. I was a Division I track athlete with the University of Akron. I did the hurdles. So with any Division I sport, you're a student athlete first. So you have to do a lot of training, a lot of studying, a lot of mental and physical breakdown on your body. And it's all about, consistency, right? So that's why I really love getting into this kind of challenge and things like that. Another fun fact is that my mom is actually a trainer as well, but she trains a little bit different. Some of you guys know cross country, or not cross country, CrossFit. So CrossFit, she was actually a coach there. So she got her certificate there as well. So just a little bit of background, but I will go into what the challenge is all about for you guys to know. Okay. So really what this challenge is, like Doc said, it's 6 weeks long. It's really just made to improve your nutrition, increase physical activity, and kind of rewire your brain to get to your highest potential. Right. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the rules of this challenge. So first things first, everyone, I know you guys are all in the challenge, but you have until Monday or until Friday, rather, to come into the office Friday at 12 a.m. Or 12 p.m. to get checked in and weighed in for our challenge, okay?
Yeah, some of you guys, real quick, some of you guys have already done the weigh-ins. But yeah, if you haven't gotten signed up, there is still time to register this week. Technically, you can start next week, but we want to get everyone weighed in so that we can get your macronutrient needs calculated. Without that, it's going to be hard to really execute the challenge well. So again, if you're not enrolled yet and you want to, you still have time this week. You just need to get into our office, get signed up. We use a Tanita body analysis to weigh and measure you so we can get your exact body fat percentage, lean muscle mass percentage, and understand how to create a customized plan for just a cookie cutter approach. This is really going to be specified to each and every one of you guys. Okay. Sorry, Elijah, keep going.
Perfect. Yep. So just like Doc said, we're going to need you to weigh in, get all those stats for us so we can track them. Next thing is just consume a protein shake or take all the supplements that you have or need to take daily. If you don't know what those are, just ask us when you're in office. We can help you and show you everything for the supplements. Okay. The next thing is we will have meal plans provided. You can either follow our meal plans or you can follow our core and advanced plan guideline and just stay within your macronutrient needs. Also drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Every day we want to get some type of activity or work in. Now we have workouts provided. They are examples, but we do have beginner and intermediate. So those are just people that do or do not have access to gyms. We've made specific plans. I made them myself for you guys. So they're really good. They're a good, stable, and a good plan. They'll get you the results you need. But if you do need me to modify any type of workouts or exercises, just let me know. Like Doc said, there will be two-way messaging in this app called Trainerize. So if you download Trainerize, the other app will actually be called MyFitnessPal. And we'll get you guys both in with those two, okay? But how this works, there's a point system. So based on the number of things that you do to help either physically, mentally, or nutritionally your body sustain and grow, you will get pointed for that or a reward. So the first one will be a exercise with a picture for proof. A lot of this stuff is accountability, like Doc said. We're not doing the honor system anymore. We got to see you do the work. Okay, so it doesn't have to be in a rep. It can be before or after. Be you and your friends, whatever the case may be. We just need to see you in there working.
We prefer sweat angels. Sweat angels, when you're lying on the ground afterwards, you get up and you got a sweat angel right there. Those are the best ones. But yes, this is an accountability challenge. It doesn't matter what the scale says at the end. It matters that you're doing the right action steps. Because I can tell you right now that the right action steps leads to results more often than just hoping and praying that the scale changes, right?
That's true. I can attest to that. The next one is going to be taking a picture of your inspirational book or reading something that you enjoy or is helping you mentally. Now, that could be something in terms of habits, something in your personal life, or just a skill or a trait that you want to work on or get better at. Okay, we do have a link for our library. There's a bunch of different book recommendations we have for you guys. If you don't know of a good book, just we'll point you in the right direction. Okay. And then the last one is going to be picture of a healthy meal. So we're not going to be in your kitchen, making the food for you, but we do have those plans you can follow. And we want to see what you guys come up with. So take a picture of those foods, all the healthy stuff, and send us our way. Okay. All those three will be for 1 point. Okay.
Yeah.
We want to see.
It's 1 point each, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And so the way that you're going to post those, when you guys are enrolled for this, we're going to send you out links to download the app. And within the app, there's a group messenger there, so you can send things out in the group. If for some odd reason you don't want to send it in the group, you can send it privately to Elijah. So he's going to be that's keeping score. So for some reason, I don't know, whatever it is, but we'd rather you do it in the group, but know that you don't have to do it in the group, but we want it in the group. Okay. Cool.
Community matters.
Yep. So that's how it works. Okay. You can keep going, Elijah, with the totals and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
perfect. So those are all of the 1 point options. Okay. There's 3 of them I just went over. There is an option for 2 points to be rewarded. Now, these are a little bit bigger, obviously. So the first one will be a full week of hitting your macro count goal. So your macronutrients, staying within that number or hitting that number all week. That'll count for 2 points. The other way to get 2 points, if you go a full 7 days of scoring at least 1 point, right? So doing at least one of the following things that I went over last time. If you do at least one of those every day for a week, we'll give you an additional 2 points. Okay. Finally, there's a big reward for 10 points. And that's at the end of the challenge. That is if you are 100% attendance for all of your scheduled adjustments throughout the challenge. Okay. So yeah, you do got to come see us. You do got to come see us.
Part of this is getting your spine healthy too.
Okay, guys. So perfect. With that, there is a reward system, right? So we're going to be accumulating rewards up to the end, and you can use rewards for a multitude of different things. Okay. If you have up to 30 points, you can reward it up for a t-shirt. If you have up to 50 points, you can actually get one of our hoodies. And then finally, the big prize, if you accumulate 80 points or more, we will give you a free protein or a free max grains. Okay. So just really work on accumulating those points day in and day out. Again, send those pictures to me and I will keep count of all the points for you guys. Okay. All right. That's all I have. I'll give back to Dr. Thomas.
Awesome. Awesome. Before I go on, does anybody have any questions at all? Feel free to unmute your line. By the way, I've never been on a Zoom call where everyone had their line muted. There's always that one random person that's like talking to their mom in the background, and you're like, turn off your mic. So any questions, anybody, before I go on? I'm going to start. If you do, just holler in and ask them so we can answer them for you guys. Okay, so what are some of the foundational tenets of this when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to fitness and exercise? Elijah, you hear me all right?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so with nutrition, we're going to have 2 different plans and options for you as far as which track that you want to go down. My wife and I, about 3 years ago, we wrote a book on this, an ebook called Nutrition Plain and Simple, and it walks through the different plans and protocols. And I'm going to walk through them briefly on here so you guys get an understanding of maybe an idea of which one might work best for you. Okay, so the first one is something called our core nutrition plan. Whether you're doing the core nutrition plan or whether you're doing the advanced nutrition plan, What we focus and hone on in our office is not just the macronutrients, meaning your carbohydrates, your fats, your proteins, your building blocks of your diet. We don't believe that a carb is just a carb, a fat is just a fat, a protein is just a protein, because there are so many things that go around those that matter, and they really do matter. There's classifications for foods that are called a Nova class scale. So for foods, you can either have a Nova class 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1 would be the least processed form of a food. 4 would be the most, or an ultra processed form of the food. And what we understand now is that as humans, we've become really, really prone to craving processed and ultra processed foods. Why? Well, most ultra processed foods, and this is if you go to your grocery store right now, 73% of the food items that you have in your grocery store have added sugar in them. It's no surprise that with stress comes an increase in cortisol, and our body is programmed to crave sugar during that time. And I'm sorry, guys, but food companies know this. They fully understand it. There's something in America known as the sugar tax in the food manufacturing industry, where basically you have to put sugar in foods or else your sales margins will go down. And so most manufacturers are actually afraid to take sugars out of foods for fear that they'll lose on their bottom line. So we understand that sugar is a huge problem. So to classify foods, you'd think about it this way, that we want your goal to be to eat as many Nova Class 1, Nova Class 2 foods, minimally processed foods as possible, and stay away from the ultra processed foods that usually contain more sugar, less fiber, which is vital for digestion and gut health, less nutrients, and don't do your body good. It seems like we have an omnipresent supply right now of nutritionally imbalanced foods, things that, hold on a second, I got a little thing that said my meeting will end in 10 minutes, which I don't understand why, but okay, I'm going to close that down. We have these nutritionally imbalanced foods that are everywhere in our society. So the whole goal of the nutrition plan is to get you guys away from those, get you guys back to eating more apples as opposed to baked apple pies, if that makes a difference through there, okay? So when it comes to nutrition, it's quality foods. It's preparing good whole foods in the home. That's why we're doing meal plans for you guys and shopping lists for you guys, so you can start gaining this understanding that it's not impossible to meal prep, cook ahead for the week, and be prepared to have a great lifestyle. The lack of preparation is really what food manufacturers and our whole entire society preys upon. You can't get from the exit of 270 at Sawmill to our office, which is 3 miles north, without passing 15 fast food restaurants. Guys, they prey on the fact that we don't take time for ourselves, that we don't plan. And when you fail to plan, you plan to fail in this. So the core nutrition plan is about eating a balanced diet, good amounts of proteins, which we're all really deficient in protein from what I can tell, getting lots of good clean protein in there, moderating our carbohydrate intake. You can still have carbohydrates on the core plan, and then also moderating our, thank you. And then lowering our fats, not lowering our fats, but moderating our fats. We don't want to eat an extremely high fat diet or high carbohydrate diet. On the core plan, it's all about doing the right things in moderation. Now, I recommend the core plan if you are already in what I would call great health. You don't have any active disease process, any active diagnoses. You're not clinically classified as obese. Or let's say you have a really tough time making nutritional changes and you feel like you're really far from where you need to be. The core plan might be the place to start. Think about it this way. Tom Brady eats on the core plan when he's in his main season. Whenever he's super active as an athlete, he has more carbohydrates. The other side of this plan can be an advanced plan. So the other plan that we offer is an advanced ketogenic diet. This is really meant to be a health restoration diet. So this is meant to break down the unhealthy foods and really get rid of the sugars in general to get you back to good health very quickly. So some of you guys have heard of a ketogenic diet before. The entire basis is that you reduce carbohydrates to the point that your body sort of runs out of glucose, and your body has to start breaking down fats to make ketone bodies and turn those also into glucose so that your brain can have the fuel it needs. Whenever you get all the fats, whenever you get all the carbohydrates out of your body, if you're doing it in the right way, it can be extremely anti-inflammatory. It's also much easier to enter fasting states when you're on a healthy fat diet. When you're on a healthy fat diet and you have very limited carbohydrates in, it's very good at balancing blood sugar quickly. The first few days, all bets are off. You're going to be hangry. You're going to be a little bit upset. My wife and I did the ketogenic diet for the first time. This is like 12 years ago. We just started yelling at each other in the car for no reason on day 3. So like we can have definitely some moments where your blood sugar is unstable, but really after day 3, if you're on a high healthy fat, clean protein diet with minimal carbohydrates, no added sugars at all in your diet, and we'll go through the macronutrient makeups with this, it really helps your body to start burning fat quickly. So if you want to do a health restoration diet, if you feel like you have a lot of body fat to lose, if you have inflammatory problems like metabolic syndrome, if you have high triglycerides, high blood pressure, high fasting blood sugar, I would recommend that this be the plan for you. And again, we have a week before we get started. So if you're doing the challenge, if you're coming in, we can absolutely answer these questions and help steer you in the right direction. You don't have to decide tonight on what you're doing for the next 6 weeks. But that's the core plan. That's the advanced plan in a nutshell. And then from a fitness side, we're really conditioning these programs to make you an all-around better, more adaptable human being. So in the fitness programs, we have workouts that are designed to help build strength. We have workouts that are designed to build endurance in the form of high intensity interval training. We want to build both your aerobic and your anaerobic capacity to do work. So doing short duration, high intensity workouts are amazing for that. We have some longer workouts in there as well to work on improving your endurance. Muscle wasting is one of the things that when you read any longevity book is one of the things we want to avoid. Over the age of 30, 35, we naturally lose testosterone on a year-by-year basis, and it becomes harder to hang on to that muscle mass. Muscle mass is one of the things that helps drive your testosterone. The more muscle you have, the better it helps your body burn and metabolize fat and carbohydrates for fuel. And so we want to make sure that we're engaging those pathways as much as possible to build your lean muscle mass, whilst at the same time helping you do the right type of caloric intake, the right type of macronutrients, so that you're burning body fat at the same time that we're building lean muscle mass. So those are the fitness protocols. And Elijah mentioned this, whether you have a gym or don't have a gym, doesn't matter. We've written fitness plans for if you're just a homebody who wants to figure out how to do the right workouts at home with no exercise equipment at all, or if you have access to a gym, we have workouts planned for you. So no matter what you have or where you are, we've created these goals and these action steps for you, this plan to make it so that either way you can have great success in the changes you guys want to make. Okay. Any questions over the plans at all from anyone?
I just wanted to say something real quick, Dr.
Go
Thomas.
ahead.
For the people that don't have access to a gym, you won't need any equipment, but you will need a couple of resistant bands to do the exercises that I've written up. So
Cool. Yes. They're like $8 at Walmart, so everybody knows. Or you can go on Amazon. Okay. So let's finish this off then with some marching orders. So just to reiterate this, the challenge starts on January 22nd. So if you are already signed up for the challenge, you're going to start getting some links this week that are instructions on how to download the apps. We're going to send invites to you because the app that we use is called Trainerize. So you can't just go download Trainerize. You have to be invited by a host, and we're a host. So we'll send you an invite there. By the end of this week, you will get meal plans sent out to you, and we'll be in communication with you guys this week to get you started with everything. If you're signed in and haven't yet done the weigh-in, you need to get weighed in this week. So I know like Saul, you're on the call. You were in yesterday for your appointment. I know you didn't get weighed in. You signed up and left, and I looked for you, but you need to get weighed in. So it needs to be on a Tanita where we can see your lean body mass, your body fat percentage, your water weight. Those statistics matter. So please don't send us in your weight on a scale. It's more in depth than that, so we can create the right macronutrient profile for you guys. Please get in this week. If you are not signed up and you want to get signed up, you can call our office. You can sign up when you come into our office for an appointment, or you can send us an email, I guess, as well. Just either way, we'll find a way to get you signed up. Our office name is Be Aligned Health. I think most of you guys who are on the call are patients, but if you're not, bealignedhealth.com is our website. Our phone number, 614-389-4945. If you're not an active patient in our office, you can just call and say, I want to do the challenge. Our team will help you find a time to come in to get weighed in. I'll make sure one of our team sits with you for a few minutes to make sure you understand everything. And we get rocking and rolling on the 22nd. So again, this is all about your attention to detail with this. This is all about taking the action steps. We want you guys to weigh in at least once a week if possible when you come into our office. If not, at least a weigh in during the middle, and then we'll do a weigh out at the end. Again, it doesn't matter if your weight doesn't change. We want to see you build muscle and burn fat and really do the right things to make this a win for you guys in the long term. Okay. I'm going to close with this. If there are no more questions, we've got a minute left. Any questions, anybody? Awesome. This call will be recorded. So if you want a recording of this call, let us know. I will close with this. Challenges are tough. They're not meant to be easy, or else it wouldn't be called a challenge. But in life, you guys all know this. You get to choose your pain. Okay. Doing a challenge is tough. Having to eat healthy, having to work out consistently. If you're not used to that, it's a bit of a challenge. Meal prepping for the first time when you get out 2 dozen eggs and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Do I have the right pans? That's a challenge. But I'll tell you that the other side of it, there's also pain. I watched my grandma develop diabetes because she didn't take good care of herself. I watched her go to dialysis 3 days a week and sit in front of a machine for 3 hours to filter her blood. That's painful. So there's a lot of things that cause pain in life. Being healthy is painful. Not being healthy is, I would argue, more painful. But you get to decide now if you want to choose your pain or have your pain chosen for you. And I'm always going to choose my own pain because I can deal with that. I can't deal with the pain of not doing something and not taking action. So I look forward to seeing all of you guys for the challenge. Again, it starts on the 22nd. Get weighed in this week. We'll see all you guys soon.